But now, I want your calls on this. Should Prince Harry get full royal protection when he's in the UK? 0207 862 2222. The Duke of Sussex has arrived at court to challenge the decision the government made to change his security status. A committee downgraded it in February 2020 after he and his wife Meghan stepped back from life as working royals. Last year, the High Court told Harry the decision was lawful, but the Court of Appeal has now allowed Harry to challenge the decision, and his lawyers claim that he inherited a security risk at birth for life. He said he'd be happy to pay for the security himself, but Home Office lawyers oppose the idea of allowing wealthy individuals to buy security from the police. Is that the way it works, Yasmin? If we're going to accept that DNA makes you a royal, does DNA guarantee you police protection for life that we all pay for?
You know, I'm not a royalist at all. But I think there is an issue here about what is he being punished for.
Why is it a punishment?
I think it's a punishment because there's been years now since before Harry and Meghan left the country, or in my view, had to leave the country because of the hatred, really, that was being whipped up by certain sections of the press and other people against them. We live in very volatile times, OK? And it seems to me that for him, who provokes a lot of anger in this country, because he wrote after the book he wrote. People forget, incidentally, that Charles spoke about how unhappy he was with his own parents on the Jonathan Dimbleby show and how cold they were to him. And nobody remembers that, as if he's broken some kind of a religious code. So I think his life is in danger. And anybody whose life is in danger, who's a prominent person, especially as he's offered to pay for it.
OK, but isn't this a transaction? Very simply, he stops providing us with the service of being a royal, all of the what's entailed with public life. He moves to another country. We can't carry on providing
no, but he
if he doesn't give us that service back.
Why can't he pay for it? Look, his life. How would his father?
Because you can't pay for the police. You can't.
No,
none of us can pay for the police.
He can pay for security if he's willing. People say, "Why should we pay for it?" That's the one argument. But also, if Charles and William don't deal with this situation and something happens to him, because something could,
Mike.
Sorry. Then what will they say?
Mike.
I mean, contrary to what Yasmin said, I am a royal, but I don't think he should get the benefit of the protection that members of the royal family get because he's opted out of the royal family. I mean, he has opted out. He's a non-working royal. He's moved to the United States. He's pursuing his own life. He can't have 1 foot in the royal family, 1 foot out. He wants to make hundreds of millions of dollars over in America. That's why he opted out of the family in a business association with his wife, which he's perfectly entitled to do. But that does mean the relationship between himself and the royal family here and this country has to change. I can't even work out why he's pursuing this. He's spending millions on a court case to try and enforce the Metropolitan Police to show him royal protection when he could pay for it himself.
Well, he's offered to pay for it himself. He's offered to pay for police protection, which means that the intelligence that the police have about potential threats to him is something that they could use to protect him.
But you've already pointed out, Matt, twice in this programme already, you can't buy police protection in this country.
And you can't opt out of DNA. You can't opt out of the accident of your birth, which makes you a member of the royal family. That's not something he can choose not to.
But you can't opt out of the royal family and say, and by the way, there are some privileges I would still like.
It's not a privilege.
It is a privilege. I would still like royal family. We have such a good police force in this country. I know people are often criticising the police, but I still think we've got the best police forces in the world, and they will protect any famous and important person who comes to London, and he gets that as a matter of right for being in this country. He does not need anything more. If he feels he needs something more, he must pay for it himself and get the specialist information he needs. It's not available to him anymore. He's not a member of the working royal family anymore.
Can I say, all this interest in Harry, which has continued every day, and Meghan, is because he's part of the royal family. So this idea that he's resigned from that role, that should stop him appearing on any of our papers and any of our channels. He's now a private citizen, but that's not how it's been, has it? Even when Meghan sells jam, it becomes a big event to slag her off. Whatever he does, whatever Harry does, is money-making for the newspapers and the media.
And for himself.
No, they don't pay him.
No,
The papers don't pay him.
No, he's working for himself. That's what I'm saying.
So because he is a royal, the interest they're showing in him is because he's a royal. And therefore he needs protection.
Yasmin used the term punishment.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he is receiving punishment?
No, I don't.
At the hands of the media, but also through processes like this, where actually he was born into this life?
No, he's not being punished. The reason why he's in the papers every day, as Yasmin rightly points out, he's one of the most famous men in the world because he is the son of King Charles, OK? That's why he's very, very prominent. But it was his decision to opt out of working for the organisation, the royal family, headed by King Charles.
None of the rest of us have to make that decision.
Well, he does.
I don't have to make the decision to leave the royal family because I was never born into it.
He was born into the royal family and opted out. And personally, I'm very critical of the way he's responded to leaving the royal family and some of the stuff he's been saying about the family he was formerly attached to ever since to make money. To sell a book and try and make money out of it by criticising your own family and saying some rather unpleasant things about the Queen is, in my view, beyond the pale.
Is it not important that we understand the way...
That's where the hatred comes from.
Well, is that not... Is it not important that we understand the way that the structure that is at the head of our society, the head of our country, operates? And if somebody is prepared to say, actually, listen, let me tell you the truth here, is that not something that benefits all of us?
Well, it may benefit everybody in the world to learn what's going on inside the British royal family.
His father did it.
In the British royal family. But frankly, I wish he hadn't have said it, and he's had terrible repercussions since he did.
Let's take
but a lot of people understood his life
calls coming in.
a lot better.
Yasmin, we've got loads of calls coming. I want to try and take as many as we can. Jeanette's in Dorset. Should we be paying for Harry's police protection, Jeanette?
Right. Well, I just think it's very, very sad that things have reached the stage that they have. Now, I don't know if I'm right, but I think I am. I can recall, I know that Harry and Meghan had difficulties. She was from a different culture, and it's a lot to settle down to. And I think they needed some space, and I think he did use words to that effect.
OK, so he left the country, but crucially, he stopped carrying out the duties of a royal, Jeanette. So we don't get that in return.
But I think the Queen said to him, you're either in or you're out.
That's right.
You cannot be halfway. Now, I'd be very thankful if somebody could really relate back to that. It must be written down or something somewhere. I'm sure that is what she said.
It's interesting you say that, Jeanette. Of course, there is no record of that. That was a private conversation between two members of a family. And I wonder if that's kind of at the heart of this, that there is family business, there is family, and there is being head of state. And sometimes we struggle to separate
those.
They
did want to carry out some royal duties, but they were stopped by Charles at the time, saying, you're out now, we don't want... That happened, that is recorded.
Because
let's take another call. Let's take another call. Brenda's in Wiltshire. What do you think, Brenda? Do we have a duty to protect someone who was born into a family that rules our country? And should we pay for that?
No, I don't think we should pay for that because Prince Harry and Meghan left our country. They've done nothing but run the royal family down in our country, and he wants royal protection. Well, I'm sorry. No,
what if they are? What if they are?
Our country, he should pay for it himself.
Well,
and the only reason they'd be at danger is because of what they've done. Everywhere they go, they cause trouble.
Well, you say they're causing trouble, but what if they're telling us the truth about the structure that is at the head of our country, the way that we are governed? And we need to understand that better for all of us, for fresh air and daylight to come in so we understand the country that we live in. Well, OK, well, Brenda, I think that was too much for you. Merva is in Sheffield. Merva, what do you think? Should we pay for Harry's protection?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, panel. Morning, Yasmin.
Hello.
Yeah, we should. Harry is the king's son. He is a prince by birthright. So the Queen wrote down and said, everybody's forgetting, she wants Harry to have protection and his family. This is noted, right? So Harry has said what he said, right? Everybody has said, they've slated Harry, they've said disgusting things about Harry and his family. They've even commented about the children. And Mike, you're a disgrace, I'm sorry.
Really?
Right? That's not British. It's not right, Mike.
What's not right, Merva?
It's not right that you're saying Harry should. He's said this. Did you say anything when they're saying about his children's a monkey? Did you go on the telly and
that never happened, Merva. Believe me, I'm sorry you're exaggerating there. What I'm saying is he's betrayed his family. He can't even meet his father, the king, for fear that whatever they say in conversation will be publicly broadcast worldwide. He does not deserve the protection of the royal diplomatic squad in this country.
OK, we're going to take another call. Thank you, Merva. David's in Glamorgan. What do you think, David? Should we be paying to protect Harry when he's in this country?
When he's in this country, I would say yes. But Harry was born very, very privileged, and he's let the country down. He's let his family down. He's let everybody down. And when you're born privileged, you've got to do your duty. And he hasn't. And that's now, when he's in this country, he needs to be protected. When he's in America, leave him alone. He can pay for his own protection. This is the way he wants it. Let him have it.
OK.
But he was born very, very privileged.
I agree.
And I agree with Mike.
Some people wouldn't call it a privilege. Some people would call it something he never asked for. You know, an imposition, an obligation.
You don't ask to be a royal, but you are born into extreme privilege, aren't you? You know, you live in palaces, you've got no money worries all your life. People, you know, tip their hat to you wherever you go. It is a huge privilege to be in that situation.
And a little boy, when his mother died...
It was terrible.
...was his own father, and nobody in the family protected him. This was a boy who was so hurt, so damaged, and there are columnists who let rip horribly about Meghan, who are the best friends of our Queen. Let us not forget that. Let us not forget how his own family, they talk about his betrayal, never about their betrayal of this young boy.
OK. Well, he's been given the chance to appeal, and obviously we'll keep an eye on exactly how that turns out, whether it turns in his favour. So far, the courts have said no.